Now we're going to go and finish chapter 17, but we got another revelation here. Something you have to understand, something you have to see concerning this Babylon, this image, this symbol, this woman, this harlot of Babylon. Chapter 17, as we have said, is still in the sign of the bowls of wrath. And this Babylon here, this woman, this harlot, the first thing it says in 17:1, and one of the seven angels who had the seven bowls, it goes immediately into the wrath of God. This is the first depiction of Babylon, the harlot, the immoral, the unfaithful woman having relationships with these kings, with these other nations. She's not faithful. This church, this end times church, is not faithful to her God. And when we go to the next chapter, we see Babylon. That Babylon, we have to understand, is after these things. It's going to be the Babylon, the image and the picture of Babylon falling at the beginning of the tribulation. This chapter 17 is this harlot, this woman, Babylon, in the middle of the tribulation to the end of the tribulation. Because you're going to see that as we finish here. And what you need to see and understand in 17 verse 3, it goes on and says, "And I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast." Why is this Babylon sitting on this scarlet beast? She's not going with Babylon. Babylon has already fallen, we're going to see in the next chapter. What is she doing here? Babylon is fallen. The two became one. This is like the wife of the husband. The husband has died, but the wife still has her name here in this revelation here. And she's riding this scarlet beast. Why is that? Because Babylon has fallen. She's so unfaithful. She's such a harlot. As soon as Babylon falls, she just rides in on the next kingdom, the next government, the next world. She continues her lewdness, her immorality, as she sits on this beast to ride into his kingdom. But as we're now going to go on, in chapter 17, you're going to see that this beast has his own mind. This beast doesn't want this religion. This beast has his own religion. He's his own God. And we're going to see what he's got for this unfaithful harlot, this unfaithful, immoral person, that her husband is fallen because Babylon has already fallen. And now this woman is left and goes into the beginning of the tribulation after Babylon has fallen. And what's the first thing she's doing? She's riding on this beast. She's riding on Satan's coattails. She's riding into the kingdom of the beast, hooking up with the next relationship of the next government. And let's go on now, because we had finished in chapter 17, verse 7. And let's start in 7 again. "And the angel said to me, why do you wonder? Why do you wonder about this woman? I shall tell you the mystery of the woman and the beast that carries her, which has the 7 heads and the 10 horns. We already know this is Satan coming to set up his kingdom. And we know this woman is this woman in the sign in chapter 12. Who gave birth to this son. Yes, these sons of God. Yes, God's seed is still being planted in this whole church. And he does bear fruit. And he does raise up sons. And he does raise them up to heaven. But this woman is a harlot. She's unfaithful. And as we go on, all I'm going to say about verse 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 is, these describe the kingdom of the beast rising up, and that he's going to have his own power, his own kingdom. It's all going to seem good at the beginning of the tribulation because he's going to try to restore order to the world, to the governments, as the governments have been shaken and fallen after this asteroid hits. And it all seems good. And these kingdoms are going to get together, and 10 kings are going to rise up with this beast, with his kingdom. And they're going to want to improve things. It's going to look good. Everybody's going to want to be a part of it. I'm not going to go here and describe this or say what I see in it or what I think in it. There's lots of good teachings on this, but it's simple. I can tell you the simple truth that if you see the tribulation start and you're still here, and as it's going on, you see this kingdom rising up in Europe, in the Middle East, these countries coming together to bring peace and stability back to the earth. And when you see, and if you're still here at the midway point of the tribulation, and you see that they're giving out this number to buy, sell, and trade, have nothing to do with the whole kingdom. You don't need to know if it's Greece is in there. Oh, I don't know if Rome went in. I don't know if Egypt did. Did this rise up? You will see the kingdom of the beast rise up as the tribulation is started. It will start to form. It will hit its peak at the midway point of the tribulation and will demand that you take that mark. Stay away from that. You don't need to know every country and kingdom and was they there? Oh, is this it? It will be obvious. And let's hit verse 12 here. And the 10 horns which you saw are 10 kings who have not yet received a kingdom, but they receive their authority as kings with the beast for 1 hour. As the Antichrist sets up his kingdom, Satan is setting up his kingdom in reality, and he is bringing these people and countries together. 10 kingdoms will rise up and give their authority and power to him. Their military, their might, their authority, their money will roll into one, and they'll support the kingdom of the beast. And in verse 13, and these have one purpose, and they give their power and authority to the beast. These will wage war against the Lamb. These are going to rise up. They're going to wage war, first of all, against the Lamb, coming against every Christian, every born-again Christian on earth that's left on earth at that point, especially the Jews as they turn to Christ at the middle point of the tribulation. They're going to come against him. They're going to come against the church. In that sense, they will be against the Lamb, and the Lamb will overcome them because he will come back. He will stop this. He will stop this slaughter. He will stop the kingdom of the beast. He will stop that rule. See, Babylon rules at this time. Babylon's going to fall. As Babylon falls, the beast, Satan, will come and set up his kingdom. Man will rule with Satan, through Satan and Satan's power. But God will bring an end to that as he comes, and Christ himself will rule and reign with us. And it says, and he is the Lord of lords and the King of kings, and those who are with him are the called and the chosen and the faithful. As he comes back to set up his kingdom, he will destroy this kingdom of the beast because it is Satan on earth ruling with man. And he's going to set up his kingdom with us, and we will rule and reign with him. In verse 15, and he said to me, the waters which you saw where the harlot sits are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. This was that worldwide unfaithful harlot church spread across the earth. We talked about that earlier. And in verse 16, and the 10 horns which you saw, and the beast. That's the kingdom of the Antichrist. That's the kingdom of the Antichrist with these other 10 kings that will rise up with it. What does it say about them? And the beast, these will hate the harlot and will make her desolate and naked. As these countries come together and they give all their authority to the Antichrist, to Satan, to the kingdom of the beast, they're going to hate other religions. They're going to hate the born-again Jews. They're going to hate any Christian left upon the earth, and they're going to want to exterminate them, but that ain't enough. Even dead Christian religion for religion's sake, they're going to want that gone. And this harlot tried to ride in with the beast. She tried to hook right up with her immorality, right up with her unfaithfulness. She tried to hook right into the beast because it seems like he's going to do something good. She wants to be a part of it. But it said, these will hate the harlot and make her desolate and naked. What does it say after that? And will eat her flesh and will burn her up with fire. This religious Christian church that's left that tries to hook up with the Antichrist and his kingdom, just like they did Hitler and every other rule and authority on earth, these, the beast kingdom, through Satan, are going to hate her and wage war with her and bring an end to the entire religious system. But here's the mystery, saints. Here's another revelation. What's the next verse say? Verse 17, for God has put it in their hearts to execute his purpose. They're destroying this religious system. They're bringing an end to it. And they're devastating this religious system. And saints, this is your God. This is what he said. What does it say here? For God has put it in their hearts, the kingdom of the beast, and these 10 nations as they rise up to destroy this religious harlot, this kingdom of the Nicolaitans. He has put it in their hearts to execute his purpose, to execute God's purpose by having a common purpose. So God's purpose and their purpose, this kingdom of the beast and these 10 nations are rising up, will have a common purpose to eliminate this dead religion, this immoral harlotry of an unfaithful religion. Bring it to an end. God is going to set in their hearts to fulfill his purpose. And by giving their kingdom to the beast, all this power and authority is going to go to getting that done until the words of God should be fulfilled. And verse 18, and the woman whom you saw is the great city. Remember, there's only 2 great cities in the book of Revelation. Jerusalem, this is certainly not talking about Jerusalem, and Babylon. It said this is Babylon. We know this is Babylon, but it's Babylon, the church, the fake religious church, the dead men's bones that has married itself to this world government. At the beginning of the tribulation, the husband in this symbol died as Babylon fell, but the woman, of course, keeps his name. That's this Babylon that you see when you're still in the bowls of wrath, because they're at the end. And we go to the next chapter and we see Babylon fall, the country, the symbol of Babylon. That is going to be the very beginning of the tribulation. And so you would think, why would God do this? And does this make any sense with the word of God? And let's go, and I'll close with this. And remember how it said here, and these kingdoms and the beast, these will hate the harlot and will make her desolate and naked, and will eat her flesh and burn her up with fire. Let's go to the Old Testament. And God's things are a wheel within a wheel. They never get out of a circle. God keeps coming back to the same place. And in his people in the Old Testament with the Hebrews, when Babylon took them over because they were a unfaithful harlot, because they mingled with the world, because they mingled with the world's governments, God let the same thing happen to them. In Ezekiel chapter 16, verse 35 through 41, we'll start with 35, and just remember what we just read. This is God dealing with Israel as they have been unfaithful and they have become nothing but a harlot. And this is what he says. Therefore, O harlot, hear the word of the Lord. Thus says the Lord God, because your lewdness was poured out and your nakedness uncovered through your harlotries with your lovers and with all your detestable idols, and because of the blood of your sons which you gave to idols, therefore, behold, I shall gather all your lovers with whom you took pleasure, even all those whom you loved, and all those who you hated. So I shall gather them against you from every direction and expose your nakedness to them, that they may see all your nakedness. Thus I shall judge you, like women who commit adultery or shed blood are judged. And I shall bring on you the blood of wrath and jealousy. Wrath and jealousy. I shall also give you into the hands of your lovers, and they will tear down your shrines, demolish your high places, strip you of your clothing, take away your jewels, and will leave you naked and bare. They will incite a crowd against you, and they will stone you and cut you to pieces with swords, and they will burn your houses with fire and execute judgment on you in the sight of many women. Then I shall stop you from playing the harlot, and you will also no longer pay your lovers. And let's remember again where we ended with this, saints. We ended with this beast and these kings rising up to attack this modern day harlot, this modern day married to Babylon, this wife of Babylon. That kingdom, this beast is rising up. And what did God say in verse 17? For God has put it in their hearts to execute his purpose by having a common purpose, and by giving their kingdoms to the beast until the words of God are fulfilled. God is going to come back. The Lord is going to come back and rule and reign. And the kingdom that is here, which is the kingdom of the beast, which is trying to stop him and his people, he's going to slay them, bring an end to that kingdom, and establish his kingdom with us to rule and reign upon this earth. You're not going to heaven to sit on a cloud. You're going to heaven to be married and become one with the Lord. And when you are, you're going to return back to go to war with him. He's going to slay these nations, establish his kingdom, and you are going to rule and reign the earth with him.